stonewash gene, even though it doesn't look like a conventional pied gene, is actually a pied bredli. What's up, guys? Dave Palumbo here for Muscle Serpents Daily, and today's video is going to be a special one. We're going to be talking about pieds. I think it's raining. I feel raindrops on me. This is a pied ball python we have right here. She's beautiful and big, and hopefully is going to give us some eggs at some point. And what distinguishes a pied from any other morph is this white section. So you have regular pattern broken up with white. Sometimes you have a lot of white, sometimes you got a little white. We call them high white, low white pieds. This girl happens to be a pretty evenly balanced pied between white and pattern, which we love. But you guys know about pieds already. I've shown you plenty of pieds. I got a million pieds. I'm always doing videos on pieds. But there's an interesting theory. I don't know if it would be a theory, but Nick Mutton, who wrote the book, The Complete Carpet Python, with Justin Julander, and also wrote the more complete carpet python that just came out. I haven't bought a copy yet. I will get a copy. Probably buy it right from Nick so I can get an autograph. He had an interesting theory. I was listening to him on Morelli Python Radio the other day, and he said, you know, there's pieds in every species of snake, and in some species it's a little more, or it's a little harder to kind of notice. If you look at the pied boa, and I'll put a picture of that up, the pied boa is mostly patterned on the top, and it's white underneath mostly. So the white is coming from underneath and creeping up the sides. It looks that way also in the pied-sided corn snakes, which I'll show you in a little bit too. So pied kind of expresses itself differently in different species, but it's still a pied gene. Matter of fact, we have a pied peacock walking around here who just had laid some eggs, and we have some babies running around from that girl. But she's expressed differently also. She's got like just some white feathers, and that you can tell that's pied. Now, I want to show you some species that you can actually tell it's pied, and then some species that maybe are not pied, but Nick Mutton thinks so, and I happen to believe him. Let's take a look. All right, guys, now this is what they call a pied-sided or blood red pied-sided corn snake. She's in shed, but if you look at the side of her here, you can see the white creeping up the side here and underneath her. That's called pied-sided. So all her pattern, she still has all her color on top, it's just the sides, and people are breeding now to get more white up. This is not a very high expression one, but it is pied-sided, and you can see it here where the white is creeping up. So this is the pied gene in corn snakes essentially, and it is expressing itself way differently, and you're really just seeing it on the belly, because the belly is what's white and the top of it's not. So keep that in mind when we look at the next snake. Once again, beautiful in its own right, but once again, expressed differently than say ball pythons or Burmese pythons, etc. All right, guys, I am holding in my hands now my Stardust diamond python that I got from Tom Crutchfield 3 years ago, or maybe more than 3 years ago now, probably almost 4 years now. And you can see we've been slow growing her. Tom's instructions to me are do not overfeed these snakes or they will not breed, and he's right. That I know for sure. This girl, I really want to set up outside. When we got her, she looked like a T-positive albino. She was so light, and you can still tell she is still light. And, you know, they call this the Stardust morph. I guess because it's so light. It's almost like yellowish green. And Nick Mutton said, this is a pied. He's convinced that this is a pied morph in diamond pythons because the stomach is white, and if you shine a UV light on this, you'll even see it more. The stomach is white and it creeps up the sides just like that pied-sided corn snake we just saw. Very, very similar, because remember, diamond pythons are really dark snakes. They're black, black with, all kinds of like white flecking on it. But this thing is completely different. To me, it looks like some sort of a T-positive with pied almost, if you want to call it that, because I don't think pied would lighten the entire snake up this much, but the snakes do get lighter as they get older. So, I'm gonna take out another female we have that's not Stardust, so you can see the difference. But this could definitely be a pied in diamond pythons. And imagine if it proves out to be correct. That would be a great prediction by Nick Mutton. But you know, he's very smart. He studies things. I believe him, and it makes sense because you're right. He's right. The white does creep up the sides and start lightening things off. It's almost like a AZTEC pied, or like the boa pied we've seen before. This girl is amazing. And once again, once we get her outside and we set her up, hopefully with a male, but our male is still very young, so he's too small to put with her right now. But this will be a great snake to breed, and we can see because all the snakes we got were from Crutchfield's pair of diamond pythons. So technically, even though the male doesn't look like her, he could carry the gene for Stardust because it's a recessive trait, and we might be able to produce some babies that look like this. So I'm super excited. All right, guys, got this Stardust diamond, and I got my other female diamond that I got from Tom. Same parents. It was a year. Basically, this snake is a year, I guess you could say, younger. And look at the belly of this one. This is much darker. Let's compare these two. Much darker, this female. Look at the belly, completely white. Still has pattern, this one. This one's going crazy. You can tell, way different. This one has got more pattern. This one, the pattern is almost erased here. And look at that white belly. Definitely looks piedish to me now that I really study it and examine it. So these two females are, once again, same parents. This one's Stardust, which is a recessive trait, so it seems. This one is got nothing. Maybe it's a carrier, we don't know. And our male looks very similar to this female. So this is the only one that seems to have this high expression Stardust gene in it. So when we breed these, we're gonna find out once and for all. Number one, is this recessive? Hopefully the male is carrying a copy of the recessive gene. And is it transmissible to the next generation? And is this indeed pied? We'll have to find out and wait. All right, my Bredli python. This is my Stonewash Bredli, is out on a tree branch, which is kind of cool because it's usually up in the hide area there. You can hear the birds in the background squawking. Those are the peacocks. Now, this is a Stonewash Bredli, which is interesting because Nick Mutton also believes that the Stonewash gene, which is a recessive trait in Bredli pythons, is a pied also. And the reason he says that is because they're, look at that white. It looks just like the pied-sided. Look at the white on the belly, and it creeps up the sides. I never even noticed it. I mean, I noticed it, but I didn't even think about that this could be a possible pied gene. And look at all this, how it disrupts pattern too. That is absolutely piedish looking. Look how white those belly are on the Bredli Stonewash. So the Stonewash gene, even though it doesn't look like a conventional pied gene, is actually a pied Bredli. Imagine if we just called this pied right from the beginning rather than Stonewash. Everyone would want one, right? We have pied Bredlis. How much? We'll pay anything for pieds. Because people love pieds. I don't know why. Pieds are very popular, and every pied and every morph that we've ever seen sells for a lot more. I mean, look at the boa pied project. I mean, some of the prices are ridiculous that people are charging, you know, because everyone wants pied, because pied is cool. But look at that bread. So anyway, we're appreciating our Bredli in this beautiful naturalistic enclosure that we have outside. But at the same time, I don't even have to hold her because we can take a peek right under her belly and we can see that, yes, she is indeed a pied. All right, we're doing a little cleaning here. Did you feed her yesterday, Pop?
No.
No, she just shed. This girl's looking really, really nice. This is one of our grow up ARUs, sub-adult. Really good. Come on, stick your hand in there, Pablo, for the camera. Just take her out. Be a man.
Let's see how I can turn this over.
Just take her out of there. Come on.
I can't seem to.
There you go. Look at that beauty. What a beautiful snake. Look at those eyes. Look at the green. Nothing better than a green tree python that just shed. Look at that. Look at that beauty. Wow. Very nice. All right. being brave for the camera here. Might be foolish, but Pablo took her out. Didn't free handle her like I am. I could get bit here at any moment. Remember that.
If you get bit, I'm not gonna save you.
Don't save me. Save it on camera. What a beautiful. Who doesn't want to hold a green tree python? I mean, that's like, they're just so awesome looking. I mean, granted, you do have to be a little wary of these. They can, you know, and they do have long teeth too, but I can't imagine their teeth are any worse than the olive python we have. So, she's got a nice grip on me too. This girl likes to eat too. She's a good eater. I'm gonna feed her at the end of the week when Pablo brings us mice, but look at that gorgeous girl. All right, this is our ARU female green tree python. Adult, Pablo and I are almost positive she's gravid. Pablo actually palpated her yesterday. 10 eggs, he thinks, is in her. She's laying very uncomfortably. You know, she's not really perching much. She was hanging from the cord on the light in this here for a while. We took it off of this, and now she's basically laying the long way. You can tell because she doesn't want to wrap around the perch because probably the eggs are in the way. I wouldn't be shocked if within a week we got a clutch. So we set up our egg box. Actually, Pablo reset up the egg box. I made one and he made a new one with a hole on the top and one in the back with some sphagnum moss in there. We're trying to keep the water bowl as far away from the perches as possible. We don't want her dropping any eggs in the perches. Hopefully she'll go in the egg box and lay her eggs. That would be really cool if we got a clutch of green tree python eggs, man. Wow. It was ARU to ARU breeding, so it will be ARUs. The question will be how much blue will be in there. We won't know because all the babies are born with either yellow or red. So, and then they go through that color change at a year old. So this will be really exciting. First time, if it happens, that I've ever bred them, that Pablo's ever bred them. So we're going to be learning on the go. We got the incubator ready to go. We got our egg box set up. So we'll keep you guys updated, assuming we get some eggs in the next week or so. All right, here's a nice little pairing we're doing. This is my AZTEC MOTLEY SUNGLOW, which is a sharp albino hypo female. She had the year off, and she's being bred by my blue line SUNGLOW boa. So I got the blue line in. Obviously, I gave the blue line female the year off because she bred last year. We had those beautiful blue babies. So I got the blue line in with the, I think AZTEC SUNGLOW MOTLEYs are going to look really nice. And with AZTEC in there, so I think because AZTEC and I don't know, I just think like AZTEC MOTLEYs look a little bluish anyway, you know, when they're babies. So I think I think it might be a good little pair. Look how cute these guys are together. They're like in love. I mean, if you look at on the right, the hypo MOTLEY AZTEC sharp albino does look, kind of has some blue in it already, right? That cool cross on its head. And then you got the blue line right next to it, so we'll leave them alone. Should be a good pairing. Whoa, I like to see that. That is a good sign right there. Zoom in on this thing here so we can see what, I don't know if we can actually see some heavy beans. That's a nice lock from my a million gene animal. That's my Super Onyx Hypo Blood Honduran T positive Anery 2 female being bred by her Hypo Onyx father. That's head for blood, head for Honduran T positive, and head for Anery 2. So that's gonna be a good one. I gotta leave these alone. I'm getting too excited. Wow. See? Leave your urates in there. Don't leave poops in there, but leave urates. Definitely has pheromones in it. Pheromones attract males to females and causes breeding. I was just gonna go in there and clean, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna touch them. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for today here at Palumbo's Pythons and Boas. Hope you enjoyed this little educational video. You know, it's kind of interesting. You know, the whole pie gene thing is just really blows my mind because, you know, we're so obsessed with pies. The original pied ball pythons were crazy expensive. I remember when Pete Call got them and started breeding them. They would like, I think he was selling them for 40 grand a piece. So pied has always been a very desirable gene. I know in Australia they have a pied blue tongue skink, which is off the charts. And obviously the pied boa is, you know, the holy grail of the boa breeding right now. And the visual, I know, sold recently to a friend of mine for quite a bit of money. So that project is really holding its value right now as well. So pieds are popular, but pieds are expressed in different ways. And I think that that's something that people don't expect. They expect to see the typical ball python pied, which is what, it's beautiful. Let's face it, that's why it's so popular. But the Burmese python pied and the retic pied are really very white driven on the bottom, more pattern on top. It's not really like a striped looking animal. We saw in the pied-sided corn snakes that I just showed you before, some of them are lower expression, but it's mostly white on the belly creeping up. And so it really, it came as a surprise a little bit to me when I heard Nick Mutton talking about it, but it makes total sense when I examine my animals. Those Stardust diamond pythons definitely could be pieds, and certainly the Stonewash Bredli, when I really looked at that belly at how white it was and see how it was creeping up the sides, kind of like the pied-sided corn snakes, it makes complete sense that those are also, potentially pieds as well. So throughout the entire snake and reptile kingdom, you're going to see a lot of different pieds, but expressed in many different ways. And I think that's something we have to just keep our mind open to and embrace that, Hey, if the Stonewash Bredli is a pied indeed, then I think its value is going to go way, way, way up, and we're going to see a lot more combinations with that. I'm trying to get my Hypos Bredlis into the Stonewash Bredli. Nick Mutton has done it before. There's some striped Bredlis and striped Stonewashes now, so we're going to see a lot of cool stuff. The future is really, really, high for the snake and reptile breeding industry. I saw some amazing water monitors. I mean, you see I have those albino water monitors. I saw some pictures of some water monitors that are like leucistic looking. They might even be pieds as well. They're white with black in them. I saw some T-positive snows, stuff that you just don't see. And I'm kind of sworn to secrecy on keeping those, out of the public eye right now. But we're going to see a lot of cool morphs coming into all the different, aspects of reptiles, lizards, and monitors, snakes. So just when you think there's nothing cool left, more comes. And that's what makes this industry or the hobby, I should say, so interesting. I just love the fact that we're always getting new stuff. Just when we think we kind of hit a ceiling and we can't do anything better, boom, something else pops up. And of course, the line breeding that we're seeing now is also unbelievable what some people are doing. I showed you the Russo Red project in boas the other day, and you can see how red those snakes have been. And there's been a lot of people. Look at the blue line boas. We'll look at those maybe tomorrow. I mean, what they've been doing in Europe with those blue lines, and now obviously I got them here and I'm trying to take it to the next level as well. A lot of exciting stuff going on. All right, if you love these videos, guys, please show me the love. Hit the subscribe button, turn on those notifications, hit that like button. I'll see you back tomorrow morning.